You could land in Japan and break the law within your first hour without even realizing it. What if something completely normal in your country could get you fined or even arrested here? Japan looks peaceful, safe, almost perfect. But beneath that calm surface are strict rules most tourists never hear about. In this video, you'll discover 11 everyday actions that could instantly turn your trip into a nightmare. And one of them is something almost everyone does without thinking: bringing weed or using cannabis. It sounds harmless. In many parts of the world, it's normalized, even legal. But in Japan, that same decision can destroy your entire trip in seconds. Imagine landing at the airport, tired, distracted, and a routine bag check suddenly turns serious. Questions change tone. Officers don't smile anymore. Because in Japan, cannabis isn't treated casually. It's treated as a serious criminal offense. There are no tourist exceptions, no understanding for it's legal where I'm from. Even prescribed medical use from another country doesn't protect you here. And it's not just about carrying it. Residue, accessories, even suspicion can trigger investigation. What makes this more dangerous is how many travelers assume the global shift toward legalization applies everywhere. It doesn't. Japan has some of the strictest drug laws in the developed world, and enforcement is real. People have been detained for far less than they expected. And once you're inside that system, things move fast, and not in your favor. One wrong assumption, and your entire trip turns into something you never planned for. Bringing certain prescription medicines. You packed responsibly. That painkillers, cold medicine, maybe something for focus or anxiety. Things you've used for years without thinking twice. But Japan doesn't see it that way. At the airport, something as ordinary as a sealed medicine bottle can suddenly become a problem. Because certain ingredients, common in many countries, are tightly controlled or even banned. And here's the catch. It doesn't matter if you have a prescription. It doesn't matter if it's legal at home. In Japan, what matters is their system, and their rules are different. Some medications require special approval before you even travel. Others can't be brought in at all. Travelers have had medicines confiscated. Some have faced questioning that escalates quickly. What makes this dangerous is how invisible the risk feels. There's no warning when you pack, no alert at check-in. The moment comes only when it's too late to fix it, and suddenly, something meant to help you becomes the reason your trip takes a turn you didn't expect. Gambling on online casinos. You're in your hotel room, relaxing. Maybe scrolling your phone, placing a few bets on a site you've used for years. It feels private, harmless, completely normal. But in Japan, that quiet moment can cross a legal line you didn't even know existed. Because it doesn't matter where the website is based. It doesn't matter if it's fully legal in another country. The moment you access it from inside Japan, you're the one breaking the law. That's what makes this so dangerous. It feels invisible. There's no casino building, no flashing lights. Just a screen. But the law doesn't see it that way, and enforcement is increasing, especially as authorities monitor digital activity more closely. Many travelers assume online means safe. It doesn't. In Japan, the location of the player matters more than the platform itself, and by the time most people realize this, they've already crossed the line. A few taps, a few bets, and suddenly, something casual becomes something serious. Carrying a knife without reason. It's small, foldable, something you've carried for years without a second thought. Maybe for opening packages. Maybe just out of habit. In many places, it's normal, practical, invisible. But in Japan, that same object can change how authorities see you instantly. Because here, carrying a blade, especially over a certain length, requires a clear, legitimate reason. And just in case doesn't count. Neither does self-defense. If you're stopped and searched, the situation can shift quickly. Questions become sharper. Explanations start to matter more than you expect. And what felt like a harmless everyday item now looks like something else entirely. What makes this rule unsettling is how easily it can catch you off guard. There's no dramatic moment, no warning sign, just a routine check. And suddenly, you're trying to explain something you never thought needed explaining. In Japan, intention matters. And if yours doesn't match their definition of valid, the consequences can escalate faster than you're prepared for. Flying a drone without permission. You see it everywhere. Perfect skylines, temples, neon-lit streets. Japan looks like it was designed for drone footage. So you take yours out thinking it's just another quick shot. But this is where things change. Because in Japan, drones aren't treated like toys. They're regulated, tracked, and restricted in ways most tourists don't expect. Certain areas are completely off limits. Others require advance permission. And if your drone meets specific criteria, it must be registered and properly labeled. What makes this risky is how normal it feels everywhere else. You see someone else flying one. You assume it's fine, but you don't know if they have permission or if they're about to be stopped. Authorities don't treat unauthorized flights lightly, especially in dense cities or near landmarks. One launch, one short clip, and suddenly you're dealing with fines, confiscation, or worse. In a country that values order and control, even something as small as a drone can trigger consequences far bigger than expected. Smoking while walking in public. You light a cigarette and start walking. It's something you've done countless times without thinking. But in Japan, that simple act can quietly break the law. Especially in major cities, smoking while walking isn't just discouraged, it's restricted. Designated areas exist for a reason, and stepping outside them can lead to fines. What makes this so surprising is how clean and organized everything feels. You don't see many people smoking in public, not because they don't want to, but because they know exactly where they're allowed to. And that's the difference. In Japan, rules like this aren't suggestions. They're enforced. You might not notice it immediately. No one stops you right away. But that doesn't mean it's ignored. And the moment someone does approach you, it's already too late to undo it. It's one of those quiet rules, easy to miss, but very real. And breaking it can turn a normal walk into something you didn't plan for. Drinking or smoking under 20. You check into Japan, excited, ready to explore. Maybe you're 18 or 19, legally an adult where you come from. Back home, you can drink, maybe even smoke. So naturally, you assume nothing changes. But in Japan, it does. Completely. The legal age isn't 18, it's 20. And that difference matters more than most travelers realize. Because here, the rule is strict, and it applies everywhere. Stores, restaurants, vending machines all operate under that limit. And enforcement isn't casual. IDs are checked, systems are in place, and violations don't just affect you, they can affect the business serving you. That's why they take it seriously. What makes this risky is how easy it is to forget. You're in a new country. Everything feels different, and one small assumption, it's legal back home, can lead to a situation you didn't expect. In Japan, adulthood doesn't automatically mean permission, and crossing that line, even accidentally, can bring consequences that follow you far beyond that moment. Drink driving, even as a passenger. In many places, drunk driving laws focus on one person, the driver. But in Japan, it's not that simple. Here, responsibility spreads wider than you think. Imagine getting into a car after a night out. You're not driving. You're just a passenger. It feels safe. Normal. But if the driver is over the limit, you're not completely in the clear. In Japan, passengers, vehicle owners, even people who provided alcohol can face consequences depending on the situation. So that's what makes this law so different and so dangerous to misunderstand. The limits are strict, enforcement is aggressive, and the system is designed to prevent the situation before it happens, not just punish it afterward. What feels like a harmless ride can quickly turn into a legal issue for everyone involved. And once it does, explanations don't carry much weight. In Japan, being just there doesn't always protect you. Sometimes it's enough to pull you into the problem. Riding a bicycle while drunk. It doesn't feel like driving. It's just a bicycle. No engine. No speed. Just a simple ride home after a few drinks. In many countries, that's barely even noticed. But in Japan, it's treated very differently. Because here, bicycles aren't seen as harmless. They're classified as vehicles. And that means the same rules apply. If you're intoxicated and riding, you can be stopped, questioned, and penalized. What makes this rule so easy to break is how normal it feels. You're not behind a wheel, you're not on a highway, you're just moving through the city. But legally, that distinction doesn't matter, and enforcement has become stricter over time. Authorities don't see it as a minor risk, they see it as a safety issue. So what feels like a safer alternative can actually lead you into the same kind of trouble you were trying to avoid. In Japan, even a simple bike ride carries responsibility, and breaking that can come with consequences you didn't expect. Using your phone while riding. It's instinctive. A notification appears, and without thinking, you check it. Maybe you slow down. Maybe you think you're being careful. But in Japan, that moment of distraction is taken seriously, especially when you're riding a bicycle or an e-scooter, because here, even small lapses in attention are treated as real safety risks. Authorities have been increasing enforcement, and laws are becoming stricter. Using your phone while moving isn't just frowned upon, it can lead to penalties. What makes this so dangerous is how automatic it is. You don't plan to break the rule, it just happens. A quick glance, a short reply, and suddenly you've crossed a line you didn't even think about. In a country where order and awareness are deeply valued, distraction stands out immediately. And once it does, it's not something you can undo. In Japan, attention isn't optional when you're on the move, and losing it, even for a second, can cost more than you expect. Not carrying your passport. You leave your hotel. Phone, wallet, maybe a camera. Everything feels normal, safe. Japan has that effect. It lowers your guard. So you think, I'll leave my passport behind. It's safer in the room. That one decision feels logical, until it isn't. Because in Japan, foreign visitors are required to carry their passport at all times. It's not a suggestion, it's the law. And if you're stopped by police, even randomly, and you can't show it, the situation changes fast. You may be detained until your identity is confirmed. What started as a routine check can suddenly become something much more serious. And the worst part? It's completely avoidable. There's no dramatic warning before it happens. No sign telling you you've made a mistake. Just a moment where you're asked to prove who you are. And you can't. In a country built on rules and structure, something as small as forgetting your passport can create a problem far bigger than you expected. Japan doesn't forgive ignorance. It enforces precision. What feels normal to you can cross a line here without warning. Now the question is, how many of these would you have done without knowing? If even one surprised you, that's exactly why this matters. Because in Japan, the smallest mistake doesn't stay small, and the consequences don't wait.